Whether you're here in person, joining us online, or watching later on YouTube, welcome to First Parish in Concord. I'm Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd, your interim senior minister. My pronouns are he, him. Oh, there we go. If you're online, please feel free to I'll adjust the microphone and then talk. If you're online, please feel welcome to participate fully in the chat. If you're here in person and have questions about accessibility or the building, please see our ushers or any worship leader. Masks are optional throughout our building, including in this space. We continue to use enhanced ventilation and encourage masking to keep our communal spaces safe for everyone. I invite everyone present now to turn and wave to those folks who are joining us online. However you are joining us this morning, thank you for coming. We're glad you're here. Our announcements. After the service, we have Worship Sharing Circle, a small group conversation about the service theme in the Brooks Room in person and on Zoom. Coffee hour also happens after the service, a less structured way to connect. On Zoom, you stay on after the service. In person, get your coffee in the kitchen and mingle in the parish hall. The pastoral care team will be hosting a table at coffee hour so our community can send caring cards. Obituaries and Liz's meal train link will also be available. Our standing committee rep this morning is Caroline Minkin. Is that true? Is Caroline here? Okay, she's here somewhere. So we'll find her. She's available to answer questions about governance after the service. And of course, don't forget to check out your Sunday announcements sheets for more announcements as there's lots going on in the congregation. Here ends our announcements.
To grounding by the Reverend Kelly Dignan. We light this chalice honoring those who came before us, the ancestors. We ask the light of the flame to honor the past, illuminate our present moment, and carry our love and actions forward to the generations yet to come. Please join in the chalice lighting response. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength. Enliven our spirits and engage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred, essential moment now. Our opening hymn this morning is number 103, if you'd like to sing the harmony in the hymnal, or you can sing it from the screens. It is For All the Saints. Please rise as you're able. Today we join with many in the Christian tradition of celebrating All Souls. All Souls Day is part of a tradition of praying for the souls of the departed. Of course, we are Unitarian Universalists. We believe that all are embraced with love. But today we join in this tradition because as human beings, each one of us knows loss, whether we are young or further along in our journey of life. Each one of us has experienced loss of some kind, whether it is a relative, whether it is a friend, a pet, or even a hero who we never met but somehow has informed our lives and character. So today you were invited to bring a photo of a departed loved one. And for those of you who didn't know that, forgot, we have slips of paper. You may have noticed them in your order of service, and you're welcome to write a name or multiple names on the slip of paper. In front of us, we have an altar, and we are drawing from many traditions here. The lit candles are part of our Jewish heritage of lighting a candle in honor of someone. In the Asian tradition, often family altars inscribe names, and so we're also touching on that tradition. But really what we are doing here is we are bringing into our meeting house, our sanctuary, those who we hold in our hearts as precious and honor them. I always thought it was one of the hardest things when you're trying to remember someone is to choose one photo to go along with their memorial service or if you're going to have an obituary in the paper, because a person has a whole lifetime of faces as their bodies change over time. So today I brought with me a photo of my father, but I also included in the corner the person I never knew, but yet always saw in the twinkle in his eye, a little picture of what he looked like when he was a boy. And I invite you to honor your loved ones today on this altar, but also when you go home, to create a sacred space for you to always hold in your mind and heart those loved ones, and particularly in this season of fall, when so many are honoring the changing of the seasons and the wheel of the year. While the music is playing, you're welcome to come forward, and if you have a photo in a frame, of course, you can prop it up on our altar table. If you have a loose photo, there are clips, which you can clip them onto our trellis, and the same with the names. You can lie it on the altar, or you can clip the names onto the trellis, and together we will build an altar of memory. just take a moment to witness what beauty. So many people, so many stories, and I hope we'll continue to share with each other. I want to invite our RE guides to come forward because our children will be departing for religious exploration. Our kindergarten through third grade group today is up in the Emerson room. Our UU tweens, which is our fourth and fifth graders, will be going outdoors to the tent. And our junior youth group is going to go first to the Old Hill Burying Ground to visit some of our ancestors, and then we'll continue working on our chalices. So let us join together in song.
It's always a lovely morning when there's so many people leaving to go to the RE program that it lasts beyond the song. Now that we have created this beautiful sacred altar space in front of us, I invite you now to join me in our responsive reading. You will read the words in italics at the end of each line on your screen as we go, which is simply, you don't even need to read them, you just remember them because we remember them. That's your part. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year and when it ends, when we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we have joys we yearn to share. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as The dead live among us. Let me tell you what I mean. My grandma Carrier, my dad's mom, was wonderful. I have many fond memories of her growing up. She would come to our house every Thursday after doing her grocery shopping. The senior transportation would drop her off at her house. She'd bring her groceries in, and we would spend time together in the afternoon, playing games, doing all sorts of things. I particularly remember the time that she took me to Woolworth's and bought me a stuffed animal. In particular, and I still have this stuffed animal because she had a little white dog with curly hair named Pumpkin, called Punky. And we got me a little white dog, right, with stuffed animal. So Punky is now very gray and dirty and not recognizable as white, but I still have him. Lots of other fond memories. Baking with her at her house, playing with her at my house. And there's some other moments too where I was a little rambunctious. She was on the heavier side, and I would sometimes say, "You're fat," like little kids do. And she'd be like, "You rat," right back at me. And every once in a while, I would, be so rambunctious that she would take the broom out of the closet and threaten me with it. But this is actually a fond memory, right? Because she wasn't actually going to hit me with it, but anyway, it is a fond memory. I hold that one. Hold those. Now, of course, as happens as time passes, our relationship shifted a little bit. I got older, and my teenage memories of her, once I got my license, are more focused on driving her home, because she would come every Thursday when we would go out to dinner as a family. And that became my job once I had my license, was to drive Grandma home after our family dinner. So that's a different kind of memory, right? The roles shifting just a tiny bit there, where I'm doing a little bit of the helping. And then as I got older and she got older, she ended up in a nursing home, and eventually she died. The people in our lives, even though they're gone, they leave a lasting impression. What they do, how they treat us, how they love us, it lives on in us. My Grandma Carrier lives on in me. The interdependent web of life, reflected in our seventh principle, doesn't just connect us to the people who are still alive. It connects us to those who have come before and those who will come after. I carry my grandma's love with me, even now, 20 years after her death, and I will forevermore. And I imagine that some of that love, even though they don't know it, will get passed on to my kids, because she's helped build up that well of love within me. If only the interdependent web only connected us through love and not also through pain. I never knew my Grandpa Carrier, my grandma's husband, because he drank and smoked himself to death before I was born. He was an alcoholic. And even though I have never met the man, I have lived with him, because I lived with my dad, who grew up in an alcoholic household. And my dad, along with my mom, was one of my two formative emotional role models, and so I learned a lot of how to be emotionally in the world from my dad. And as good a man as he is, and as loving as he was, he had picked up some less healthy emotional ways of being, living with an alcoholic. Totally understandable. And so it was that when, many years ago at this point, I read a book titled Adult Children of Alcoholics, I recognized myself, even though neither of my parents was an alcoholic, because my grandpa was there in our house, even after he was long gone. So I am also interconnected with my Grandpa Carrier, even though I never met him. He still impacts my life to this day. I am still in the process of unlearning some of the unhealthy emotional patterns that are a direct result of his pain, his struggles, and his trauma. On this day, where we honor those we have lost, we remember that we are connected to them in all the ways. Hopefully, most of those connections were good and grounded in love and health and caring. And for some we have lost, it may be a mix, some of both. And perhaps for some there is more hurt than good. We hold all of this on this day, all of the interconnection, that web that holds us in love, that also sometimes connects us in pain, because this is the human experience. It was the experience of our ancestors, those who came before us, and it will be the experience of those who come after us, all interconnected. On this day, where we remember those we have lost, many of us grieve those we have loved and who have loved us. This is as it should be. It is one of the reasons we gather as a religious community, to create a sacred space for holding death, loss, and grieving. We also hold that some of us might be remembering in a different way, that for some of us it might be complicated or even hard to remember those we have lost. And we can know that for those we have lost who have loved us, that they and their love live on within us. That is the power of interconnection. We are gifted the good and the hard. And so for those who have lost us, who have left some less desirable memories, some gifts or challenges, maybe now that we are gone, we can even consider or find some forgiveness, some peace, some letting go. Our faith calls us to healing, and it calls us to bringing more love into the world. Neither of those things we do alone. We heal and bring love with this gathered community, with the love that we share with each other. And that is not the only love available to us. Most, if not all of us, have someone or multiple someones who have loved us, who is gone, and their love remains with us also. The dead live among us as part of the interconnected web of life that extends beyond our lifespans. We carry what they have given us, cherishing the love, healing the hurts, and choosing what we want to pass on to others. We do this offering of love to ourselves. We offer love to each other. We are offered love by those who came before us. And we do this with the support and care of the Spirit of love which pervades the universe. Today, we remember them. We remember them and the gifts they have offered us. We remember them, and we are held and receive and are held by their love. We remember them, and we choose love. Amen.
It's an honor to be back in this house of worship after quite a few years. I can remember in this very hall as a teenager entertaining ideas about the greatness and closeness of a divinity so wise and sublime as to be responsible for the creation of nature with a capital N. From the woods of Walden and Punkatasset, I eventually discovered a calling in a different forest where that sublimity of nature was in enhanced evidence, the jungle of the Amazon basin. And for the last 20 years, I've been a resident of Peru, dedicating my life to learning from and interacting with and trying to actively support the living landscape I call home and the people who live there. And these were ideas that reached me filtered through my parents, through Gary Smith and Jenny Rankin and others, going back to Emerson and Thoreau. Eventually, these ideas helped me build the courage to civilly disobey, to fight against unquestioning compliance in a system that rends nature with a capital N. I'm aware that I'm fortunate and privileged to be able to do something to honor the Amazon forest and its people. And that something has been to start an organization called Camino Verde. For the last 15 years, we've planted a lot of trees, over 300,000 at last count, and more than 400 species of Amazonian trees. We work with indigenous communities for their benefit with their ownership. To give one example, one of the trees that we're planting is called Amazonian rosewood. Its oil was an ingredient in Chanel No. 5, which caused rosewood to be forcibly taken from the forest through the extraction of whole trees. And that devastation was accomplished via slavery imposed on native people like the Borda, Witoto, and Maihuna. Now Camino Verde works with the Borda, the Witoto, and the Maihuna to help them replant a legacy, to reclaim culture, and sustain endangered biodiversity at the same time. We're up to over 20,000 rosewood trees planted so far, and their oil is being harvested from the trees through pruning of the branches instead of killing. I'm going to risk a cliche and say that there are ways that we can make a difference, and having the ability to be part of making a difference is a gift, to be treasured as such. If anything of what I have said moves you, please consider making a special contribution to today's Share the Plate, which will contribute directly to Camino Verde's efforts to instigate economic and ecological regeneration in the Amazon basin. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We will now receive this morning's offering. Please give generously. This is the prayerful section of our service where people share joys and sorrows. This morning, we offer prayers for Peter Gunnis, who died on November 1st. Peter was an active friend of First Parish and a partner of Catherine Esty. Our hearts are with Peter, his family, Catherine, and all who knew him during this time of loss. Our community also mourns the death of Rudy Scheiber-Kurtz. All are welcome to join Rudy's family in celebrating her life on Thursday, November 9th at 2 p.m. here at First Parish. Diane Weiss has asked for the congregation's prayers at this time. She has been diagnosed with treatable lymphoma and just began chemotherapy. We offer our loving care to Diane and her husband, Victor Karin. And finally, Reverend Liz Weber, our Minister for Congregational Care, has begun her 2 months of medical leave to recover from her recent injury and illness. Our community is invited to send cards to her home or sign up to deliver meals. We pray for her recovery. Is there anyone else on your heart and in your mind right now? If so, I invite you to call their names aloud or type them into the chat now. There are also often things, people, that are difficult to name out loud. We pause for another moment of silence for all that remains unspoken on our heart. As there continues to be wars and fighting, cataclysmic weather events, and so many other difficulties around the world, let us take a moment of silence to hold each other, all the members of our community and all those in need, in love.
We're going to enter into a litany now. Your part will be to sing, "You Are Not Forgotten," after each name as we sing the names of those in our community who have died in this last year. And there will be a time after each round of names when there's just music. And I invite you at that time to name those who you would like to remember into the room. Sue Cornwall, you are not forgotten. Heather McPhee, you are not forgotten. Marvin Johnson, you are not forgotten. Barbara Vennessy, you are not forgotten. Stephen Olson, you are not forgotten. Bruce Bailey, you are not forgotten. Clemencia Manuel, you are not forgotten. Peggy Gallo, you are not forgotten. Mary Jean Caspar, you are not forgotten. Winifred Bush, you are not forgotten. Robert Whittlesey, you are not forgotten. Ryan Winmore,
Scott Anderson, Hope Metcalf, Jane McMahon, Erica Morrison, Carl Moore, you are not forgotten. S.J. Fulcrum, you are not forgotten. Anna Rebecca Toll, you are not forgotten. Vincent Giuliano, you are not forgotten. Vance Hall, you are not forgotten. Major White, you are not forgotten. Henry Hall, you are not forgotten. Kathleen Elcott, you are not forgotten. Martha Poole, Mason Fackert, Cynthia Newman, Kay Harvey, Sarah Faye Baird, Kay Johnson, Tony Rodriguez, Rich Hollingsworth, John Haggerty, Bob McMahon, you are not forgotten. Rudy Scheiber Kurtz, you are not forgotten. Peter Garnett, you are not forgotten. 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 You are not forgotten.
Friends, we remember today. We remember those who have gone before us. We remember those we have lost. We remember that we are connected to those who have come before across the spans of lives. That love remains, love carries us, love holds us.
I invite you all to rise with me now to sing our final hymn, Let the Life I Lead Speak for Me. The words will appear on the screen. Anderson will help me lead it. You'll catch on if you don't already know it. It's very repetitive. And we'll switch. It's a zipper song where we'll switch each verse. Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I lead speak for me. Let the love I share, let the love I share speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I share speak for me. Let the friends I have, let the friends I have speak for me. Let the friends I have speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the friends I have speak for me. Let the work I do, let the work I do speak for me. Let the work I do speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the work I do speak for me. Let the songs I sing, let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the life I lead, let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I lead speak for me.
Friends, let us join now in saying our benediction. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Go and be blessed and be a blessing.